Welcome to my latest adventure. Today, I'm diving into the mesmerizing world of honeybees. Join me as I experience for the very first time the heart-pounding excitement of watching master bee wranglers at work. While I love honeybees, there's a chance these could be aggressive Africanized bees, and we won't know until the hive is revealed. Stay tuned to find out what the buzz is all about.
If you have the will and a moment to spare, it's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there.
Today, I'm heading over to a neighbor's house. She has a big problem. She's got 2 live beehives inside of her house that we don't know how long they've been there. And then she has one collapsed one that she had poisoned about a year ago, and it had a lot of honey in it, so it's seeping through the roof. So I'm heading over to join the bee crew to help remove these bees. Bees will return to the same location once you remove them. We've got to get those bees out of there and get her house sealed up so she doesn't have that problem anymore. Come with me today and we're gonna have a buzzing good time.
I got one little thing right.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Right there? Anyway. Let's see. It's right about here.
Well, that's where
It's teeny tiny. Look at this thing.
So maybe they're just moving in.
With that much activity, there's got to be a lot more bees.
Well, that could just be a break in this place.
And that could be too. Well, when we see things like this, now that to me looks like scatter from heat on the outside in the corner. Possibly. I mean, that's also what I would expect to see if I saw bees. But you also have that over here, right in here. I can't find them in here, which is really wild. That's not normal. If I can't find them in here, I really don't want to cut. The outside, that wood, you can't replace. We have to cut. That's a negative, right? Got here, they were in another hive.
Okay.
So when the hive builds to a certain size, nobody knows how they do this, but all of a sudden they go into swarm. So the hive will start building queen cells. When they cap those cells, the old queen and half the hive take off. And so you have all those queen cells left over. That hive goes out. Those are the ones people usually see balled up on a tree or on a car or side of a house, whatever. When they do that, then they send scouts out, and those scouts look for a final home. In this case, they found Eddie's house here. Okay, and then they pick up, move in, start over again. The old hive, those virgin queens, when they hatch, they say the first one that hatches will go kill all the others because there can only be one. From a survival standpoint, that's pretty stupid because that queen, that when she goes on her mating flight, it's going to go 3 miles away minimum.
Oh, she may not survive.
And the reason being is her drones, the boys from her hive, they're her brothers basically, they're only going to go 2 miles out. And that's how they prevent inbreeding in a hive. So now she's got to go 3 miles away, 3 miles back, and dodge cars, birds, lizards, and the worst of all, dragonflies. Okay, she's got to dodge all of that and make it back. Now, if she doesn't, that hive's dead. If you go by what they say in the books. I've already shown down here, I've been videotaping my hive on a hive I knew had 18 queen cells. I was videotaping a queen on the outside of the hive, another one popped out and took off. And then another one popped out and took off. So my theory, and I've been talking to the University of Florida about this, is they all go out on the mating flight. The ones that don't get killed, because they will do that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But the ones that don't get killed, they all go on a mating flight. First one that comes back, the hive's going to accept. Any subsequent ones are going to get rejected.
Right.
Now you've got these free-floating, mated-up queens. Okay, and I've actually had this happen, and I say I'm having a good time with the University of Florida on this. I'll have hives that have no eggs, no larvae, and in some cases, not even capped brood, which means that hive has been queenless for 3 weeks or better. I order a queen in, okay? I go to install. I always inspect for queens prior to installation. So I go in, I got a queen. Where'd she come from? Well, my belief is those free-floating queens that got rejected by the other hive, they can smell pheromones just like the girls can. If I caught this queen and I put her in a box near the hive, all those girls are going to go into that box with the queen. Well, queens can smell a pheromone as well. So I'm thinking they fly around, they don't smell a pheromone coming out of a hive. I think they just pop in.
Okay, that's interesting.
Now, it's not in any books.
Yeah.
And the University of Florida we're having discussions about it.
That's interesting.
But I've seen it happen. I've had at least 10 hives now
Yeah.
in the last 3 years where there was a 100% chance they could not make a new queen. And they
It's a
ended
good
up with
theory.
a queen when I
Yeah.
had to install a new one.
I mean, it's either die or accept, right?
Yeah. And, okay. That's actually a small one. They'll usually put a 6x4.
Overnight, wow. They are busy.
They have this pegboard, so when the vacuum, the suction only stays up here, this distributes the suction so that you're not getting it all in one place. It distributes it proper. But you can see from head standpoint, you can't really get honey anywhere.
No.
That's
Yeah.
physically impossible.
It's a neat contraption.
Yeah. But these things are fantastic. I've probably done 400 or 500 removals with this.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna have to do an exploratory on this one because I need the glow. And that's not always uncommon depending on if they have insulation up there. What'll happen when the hive's been there for a while is the weight, they use the weight of the hive and they'll compress that insulation. So you'll come out here and you'll cut a piece of drywall and the homeowner will be here and they'll go, I don't see any bees, because you're looking at the backing of the insulation. I say, really, watch this. You take the thing down, the insulation will be this thick,
Oh, man.
20,000 bees.
Yikes.
Sometimes when you open these up, you'll get a burst of bees coming out,
Okay.
and then they go right back to the hive. Or in this case, it'll probably be one of these windows.
But yeah,
This is gonna
the
be-
sun's over here, so it might.
This is gonna be a mess, trying to get all the loose bees in here. I wonder if I take that down, if I can get some bees to come out.
That's a big enough hole.
I guess they're not getting into. I was hoping they would pop out of here, but
Yeah,
the box is solid, they couldn't get into that.
Sure.
So I'm gonna go out, see where the entrance is, and I'll just cut a little.
Well, I could stand out there.
These are goat skin.
Oh, okay.
Goat skin is much
Impenetrable.
more flexible, much more dexterous. The ones that she took were leather.
Okay.
They're better for when you're dealing with, say, Africanized hives, anything that's really aggressive, because these they can sting through.
Oh, really?
Not real well,
Okay.
but they
Must say
can.
Pretty thick. Okay.
So I use these when I do inspections on hives, because my hives are pretty gentle.
Mm-hmm.
You never, I haven't been stung through my gloves except on a removal for a long, long time.
Here we go. I'm not really sure how I feel about this, but we're gonna give it a go. Do you need me?
I don't know yet. This is just a probe here. And I'm not liking what I see.
Are you seeing anything?
Flashlight. Oh, well, I see bees here, but the hive's not there. Interesting design. There's gaps in the boards for the floor. So there's a few bees in here, and if we mess with them on the outside, they're gonna come in here. So we had to open this up anyway, we have to do more. Yeah, we can do that last.
Okay. I'm gonna start cutting over there. Are you ready?
See it? Oh, yay. Oh, it's not big here.
No.
All right, let's go home, man.
Oh, hey, you can climb up here if you want. They're friendly.
They're the friendly kinds?
Yes, ma'am.
Grayson. Wanna take a look?
The Florida Keys provide a specialized habitat, a unique subtropical environment for these bees, not found anywhere else in the United States. This leads to one of the most unique types of honey, which comes from the nectar of the mangrove trees and is heavily sought out by locals.
Those springs will go into the hive, so they have rooms and everything to keep them going.
Okay.
So these girls that are flying around back here, they're getting the hive pheromone, but the queen may not be there yet.
Gross.
Yeah, it's gonna be really gross. So I'm thinking of going home and getting my black and red gloves. Yeah, they kill the hive in the wall. This will be something that I would like to have the video of to show homeowners. This is why you don't want to kill if you don't know how long they've been in there. If you've watched them come in and you know they've only been there for a day or two, fine. If you want to kill them, kill them. But if you don't have any idea how long they've been in there, and you kill the bees and they're no longer maintaining that honey.
Yeah.
A long time since I've opened up one of these, but I can already see the juices coming down. Now, there's a good chance this is all the way to the end.
Yeah,
because they normally build their hives on the entrance, and then they come all the way back here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that just attracts
Now,
rats, pests.
Whenever critters uncap that, it looks like it might have been robbed by bees.
I wonder if that's what I was catching whenever I came in here and was scanning.
Possibly.
Because there was a lot of activity out that way.
Yeah, there were bees that came in and robbed this.
Does so all of the honey would even put off a heat profile?
No,
No,
but the
bees
bees
are
working
coming
the
in.
honey.
The bees working the honey.
Coming in to get it. You can see there's still honey drippings here. So when you look at this, what normally happens is what we started to see, where you start seeing this, it'll stain the whole ceiling. So they delay cutting the drywall today because they don't want to cut it. But I try to tell people, you're going to have to cut it. It's going to be a bigger job because you're going to be soaking all of this drywall.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see how it got onto the joist.
Mm-hmm.
And so it spreads that away, even though there wasn't anything there. So had we cut, we'd cut along that joist, along this joist here, all the way down, clean it out. Bees are gone, coma's gone. No place for the critters to go. But that is just a disgusting mess there.
Yeah.
Actually, I might be able to do this without gloves.
Just turns into slime with
This is why you don't kill a beehive
in
if it's been here for any length of time.
Oh, yeah, it's gross.
Well, you compare it to that nice clean comb you have over there.
Yeah.
Soggy mess.
Right.
And then just breeds mold.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going over. Oh no.
I hope not. 4 or 5 months minimum.
Or they killed it?
And then they came in, they killed the hive. I mean, there's still some honey in that stuff out there.
Now, did they use the honey for food? What do they use the honey
It's food.
for? It is food for them.
I tell people
Okay.
it's like our fat source.
Okay.
Some of us, it's like our fat source. They don't want to give it up.
Okay.
So even though they got a lot of honey, when the hive starts to starve, they get kind of aggressive, okay? But they go into their honey stores last. So they'll go out and they'll forage, try to find
Right.
food. They'll try to steal it from other hives. They go into all the bars on Duval Street because they get called every year in the wintertime. Lastly, they'll start going after their honey.
Okay, so
And that
it's
gets them through the winter.
kind of like a hibernation, like storing nuts or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they store for the lean times. And that's why, hives, some of the hives in Key West that we did early on before, we got into doing this quite frequently, we'd take 90, 80, 90 pounds of honey out of a ceiling.
Wow.
This one, had we gotten to it, would have been maybe 20,
Okay.
maybe 20 pounds of honey had we gotten to it before they killed them. There's a big difference if it just gone in, and the number of people who tell me when we ask them, well, you have any idea how long the bees have been there? The standard phrase is, probably 3 weeks ago, within the last 3 weeks. And you open it up, you take 40 pounds of honey out of it. No, you just noticed it 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They've been here a year.
Right.
Happens all the time. Now the brood comb, which some down here is also honeycomb, but the brood comb usually gets the darkest because they're constantly going in and feeding the larva. Those larvae hatch, and what people don't seem to know this, they actually spin a chrysalis in the cell.
Ah.
Very, very thin, but they do put a chrysalis in each one of those. So after a number of years, they can't use that cell anymore.
Okay.
And this is good here because there's not a whole lot of stuff, but you get this up in like the actual house where there's insulation, wiring, and
Oh, yeah, messy.
yeah.
Yeah, see, there was still quite a bit of honey up here. That whole thing,
Look at that, a huge group.
what a waste.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame. What is it? A bee makes like a teaspoon of honey in its whole life, or something like that?
Yeah, about a third of a teaspoon.
Third. Oh wow, it's not much.
Yeah, see, that's got some weight to it.
That does. Oh yeah.
All this is honey. The brood, I think, was up here.
Yeah.
These guys were honey producers.
They were. Well, they've been there a long time.
Well, no, now look, small amount of brood,
Yeah.
large amount of honey. That's nice. Too bad we don't get them.
That's bad.
What a waste.
Don't eat it. That's bad honey. Get trouble. He smells it. Wow.
I have had very few dead outs like that. What we call a dead out. The bees were dead in that hive, and they, because the guys poisoned them, and then they died. And then of course you saw the honey dripping, which is what I tell every homeowner is going to happen if the bees have been there for any length of time.
How long do you think those bees were there?
About a
2
year.
years?
About a year. Maybe more. I mean, it's hard to tell the condition of the hive. I'm glad we finally got photos of that because now I can show other homeowners, like, you're welcome to kill if you want, but this is a potential if you don't know how much honey these guys have. And that happened to be a strong honey producing hive.
I could smell the fermentation.
Oh yeah.
If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing so you'll never miss another episode. And we'll see you next Tuesday for another adventure.